What is up, everybody? It is Tog here. Welcome back to some more Four Swords style. Today we are going to be playing as Grigori Weaver, and I have two skins for him, but I'm gonna go with his default because I don't know. I think it's fitted. I don't know. He's got a pistol on him. Maybe we'll start with a pistol.
Calling me Woods.
I told you to stop calling me Woods. I'm not Woods, but appreciate you letting me know that that wasn't what you were looking to do today. So I don't know what pistol he's got, but since he's Russian, we'll go ahead and give him the Grekova. The Omerta, I don't know where I got this one, but I don't really think this fits him that much. So I'll just go with the one that I gave him. And the melee weapon, that's interesting. They got a lot more since I've been here. We'll go ahead and give him the cleaver, whether we use it or not. I'm going to change this field upgrade. Nothing to do with fire, it seems. So we'll go with dark flare. That kind of has something to do with fire. We'll go with a Molotov. We'll go with a... I guess if we're being tactical, him and Carver seem to be some friends. This, again, doesn't really matter. Maybe we won't use it. The augments, what can we equip today? Nah, we'll do that later, but we can research something that we haven't gotten. We could probably do some vulture aid, and I doubt I've done that, so yeah, we'll do that. We got pretty much everything figured out. Today, if you couldn't guess it, we're gonna be getting the Caliburn sword. Hopefully it goes a little smoother than it did last time. Let me just make sure the save file is still, yep, great. I'm glad I have it still. Standard, solo, Citadel, Demots. As you can see, the operator skin is for Weaver if I ever complete it, but that'll be a problem for another day. Weapons from the mystery box. I could try to get that. I kind of doubt I'll be able to. 50 kills. I'm pretty good with the dark flare. I really like the dark flare. I don't know why it's not a more popular choice, but yeah, we'll see. I think everything's going pretty smoothly. 1,000 critical kills with the Tonto, huh? We could try to get the Tonto out of the box, but yeah, Weaver's a very overly serious individual. He's very interesting, though. I do not mind playing as him. He's probably my second favorite player to play as. I can't really tell who my third and fourth would be, but we'll play as the first one soon enough, and if you don't know it by now, you should probably try to watch some of my other videos and find out, unless you don't care. Let's see what Weaver says.
You will find the old...
And I usually don't do this with subtitles, so hopefully I do a good job of turning on enough noise so you can hear it. But if you turn on the subtitles as well on the closed caption, you should be able to hear what they're saying as well.
Man in the dungeon. Do not confuse him with the other half-baked men. You heard Mr. Sunshine. Find Crafts before he gets chewed on.
Don't know why the maggot munchers are here, but I blame Richtofen.
Kind of a similar thing that Carver said last time about they're all confused as to where.
Oh no! Long way to ventilate your brains.
Carver Carver was confused as to why there was a breach in the ether, and Weaver seems more concerned to understand why maggot munchers, aka zombies, are here.
Without delay, his knowledge is critical to your success.
Oh yeah, Ravenoff meets Sam. A marked improvement on Maxis because she's not her.
Pick up the pace, people. We need to get to Kraft's cell before it becomes a buffet.
Yeah, so that kind of happened in Black Ops 1 as well. I don't know about the other games, but it seemed like no matter where they went, the zombies would follow them. And I believe it's because they were being chased by Samantha, who was in control of the zombies. That can be fact-checked via the moon Easter egg, but I can't really tell how this would happen now, admittedly. I don't actually know that, and considering the fact that they haven't answered the question, the character's the ones asking it, maybe it's something that you find out through the main quest. So, as of this date, today is February 24th.
These beasts follow everywhere in your wake, even after all these years. Boże mój. And I thought I kept bad company.
You're gonna have to tell me how the fuck you ended up with these scumbags. Later.
Probably should have gone the other way because the box was on that side. That's okay, we can get to cooking here.
Well, goddamn, don't expect me to bury you too.
Weaver's kind of a
sure
fan
shit
favorite
doing my part.
just because he was kind of the only one of these characters that has been here since Black Ops 1. I doubt it was since World at War.
Given the state we found you in, I'm guessing the last 5 years haven't been all rainbows and home-cooked borscht.
With Requiem gone, I was hunted by Omega and the KGB. The Syndicate gave me a place to hide. Such that it is. The main entrance is locked. You must breach those reinforced doors. And all they gotta do is stroll up to it and ask politely? Didn't think so.
Molotov lit!
And in my opinion, he wasn't a fan favorite then, but the fact that he's been here since and he's also a playable character. Woods is also a playable character. Let's see if I go down doing this. I've been really reckless with this lately. Woods is also a playable character, but he's not very, I don't know, I didn't play the
Guess we
campaign.
didn't need the password.
So I don't know how involved he is with the campaign, whereas Weaver's very involved in zombies, and zombies has been pretty consistent overall. Campaigns have jumped around, like time periods, things like that. The zombie story has been pretty consistent. I think the Call of Duty franchise, especially Treyarch, has invested several more resources into zombies than they have
It is good to see you,
elsewhere.
my friend. You remind me of the purpose I once had.
Fresh starts are the order of the day. But first, we're gonna find Richtofen, and we're gonna teach him a thing or two about betrayal.
I'm curious about that.
It might
Seems
shock
like
you
Weaver.
to know I have stuff going on that doesn't involve dealing with your petty bullshit. Like the jarheads used to say, improvise, adapt, overcome.
As the Jarheads used to say, improvise, adapt, overcome. I feel like I fall in that category. I don't know what a Jarhead is, but it sounds better than a Meathead. But who can really say? I did make my initial analysis that I thought Weaver was one of the more intellectual types, and that kind of goes into play with his role in the Black Ops 1 campaign. If you haven't seen my series on it or you haven't played it in a while, I'm gonna bring up something that happens throughout it. Not his origin
Sunshine's
story.
the
You can
best
still see that on your
disinfectant.
own time, but
So I let some into your skull.
there was a piece of intel that I remember reading. I don't remember what mission it was for, so I can't direct you to it. It was basically saying that one of the people involved was too intelligent and too weak. Almost as if being intelligent was a weakness, which you don't really hear very often, you wouldn't really think it is, but the reason they said that was because, I believe, at least given the context of it, was that when you're very intellectual, you tend to base things purely on logic, and you don't really like to take any risks. And so sometimes that can limit your progress. It kind of hinders your boldness, where sometimes you need to be bold, you need to take chances.
worse than Richtofen.
This guy hates Richtofen, which is very intriguing.
Jackpot! Who fucking are?
That's cool. Maybe I'll hold on to this guy. Even though it doesn't have too many achievements for it, or camos, I mean. Because I think Carver is the oldest of the bunch, and he's still pretty in shape, and I think he, like, takes pride in that, and I'm proud of him too. But if you pack punch the C9, it becomes the C-Nile, which is kind of funny. So maybe I'll hold on to it and pack punch it, just to roast Weaver a little bit. But he's pretty cool, he's pretty cool. I'm not gonna give him too hard of a time, but, like, if you didn't see the first...
Sam, what's the deal with these incursions? I thought the Dark Ether was sealed away.
It was, but a dimension is not easily contained. Perhaps a Project Janus experiment failed, or something on the outer side could have broken through. There is insufficient...
Yeah, it's definitely one of those two. I know which one it is. If you want to know yourself, I would check out the Liberty Falls Easter egg that I don't have on my
Round it,
channel, at least
fucker.
not on the time. But as I was
don't like
saying,
spiders, but this shit is on another level.
sometimes, I don't really remember what I was talking about, but I always like to think that if you forget about something, like, if it's important, you'll remember it. If it's not, well, that's okay. I do think being choicey in the things that you say makes your words have more meaning. So if you want your words to have more meaning, maybe try to listen more, speak less, but make sure that when you speak, it's what you want to say.
You believe that baloney about a mystical artifact that'll return Maxis from the Dark Ether?
Maxis has been there so long, I don't know what's possible. But if Richtofen wants it, I sure as shit don't want him to have it.
Fair, yeah. So I was saying that I think Weaver's a very intellectual character, but he, that is something I think Richtofen and him have in common. And sometimes you find that you kind of antagonize people who are the most similar to you, because that's where the term butting heads, I think, sometimes goes into play. Because sometimes you associate that with siblings, right? Where your mother will, like, bop your heads together to, like, get you guys to agree. Or girls, depends. I'm sure sisters fight too. And maybe even opposite genders, like brother-sister combos, could argue and stuff. So I don't know. Usually that it sounds a little less even there, because I don't know, maybe a headbutt from the brother might hurt more than from the sister, but what do I know? I'm sure girls have hard heads too. Regardless, I really like that part of Weaver. I really like that part of Weaver's character, his hatred for Richtofen, just because it's kind of reminiscent to the hatred that Dempsey and Richtofen used to share for one another, whereas Nikolai and... I think Nikolai and Takio had some beef too, but I can't remember for certain. So it's definitely a little reminiscent, especially since Weaver is Russian by nature. But
inevitably fuck her over.
And I wonder how long it'll take for you to stop being a piece of shit. I'm not holding my breath. You shouldn't either.
Franco stole an arsenal of Geneva Convention violations.
You heard the man. Loot this shit out of it.
A box of shit. Fun.
So that was Weaver being a little bit of a dad figure to Maya. And he kind of was, if you... That is on my channel, the Terminus Easter egg. You can see that he does kind of embody that for her. He's very protective. And since he dislikes Richtofen so much... I don't really know if Maya even knows who Richtofen is, but Richtofen was the reason they were in prison, and Maya was never in prison. She should have been, maybe, because she was committing a lot of crimes.
In hell, asshole.
But, you know, sometimes the people who deserve the punishment least are the ones who receive it. So I think that's probably the case for Weaver, but, you know, they still get along. But it seems like Peck was a problem as well. I'm not sure if it was through betrayal, since I don't know Cold War as much. I don't know what I'm gonna do here. This reload's so slow. I want 9 kills. But yeah, he's a good figure for her, but he believes that Peck is going to eventually screw her over. That was the dialogue if you missed it. I think that he... Ooh. Yeah, okay, we're good. Kaboom! Gotta wait.
I don't think Strauss ever figured out how this machine works.
Strauss is another intellectual type, but couldn't figure out how this magical stuff would work. He was one of the doubters of the Citadel de Mort's artifact thing that I still need to learn more about, admittedly. But yeah, I think that Peck allowed Maya to rescue them. Like, he gave the information linking her brother to that prison where they were being held, so I'm sure that's how they met. But either way, Weaver's not the grateful type, it seems, but... I think I mentioned this briefly, that I mean, based on my interpretation, Weaver wasn't necessarily a favorite in that first game, just because his character wasn't as likable as maybe a Jason Hudson or an Alex Mason or a Frank Woods.
Gonna smell like blood for days.
But he was there, and I'm sure he's probably evolved a lot since then. And I definitely like his character a lot now, but he's still a little bitter, he's a little bit stubborn, so he hasn't changed entirely, but he's still a likable guy. I kind of don't mind his, character. I definitely would play as him more if I didn't favor Maya so much. There it is, I told you. But we have 2 characters left. We have Dr. Gray, whatever her first name is, and Maya Aguinaldo, and we're gonna play as them 2 tomorrow and the next day. The 2 remaining swords are Balmung and Solais, and I think it's a pretty easy guess as to who I'm gonna play as for each, but maybe you don't know, so you'll find out shortly if I didn't already tell you somehow by connecting whatever I said earlier to what I just said. But hey, we'll allow some answers to be found. I can't leave everything up. So Raven, Stag, Lion, Dragon. So originally I was gonna play this one as the character I'm gonna play it tomorrow, because I'll explain that further tomorrow, because I have a lot of good reasons as to why I thought she would be good for that sword.
One bastard to another, huh?
Interesting. Weaver was apparently born a bastard. I gotta read more of his intel to see his parentage. They usually have a lot of information about the parents. For example, Bowman and Wood. I know Woods. I don't know. I think Bowman and Mason came from military families. I think Weaver's dad may have been a defector, so he was like part of the Russians that helped the Americans. I'm not sure. I can't be certain. That would be something I would have to do research on. Maybe I'll add some snippets to that so that it's eventually, not anytime soon, just so people want to find it, they can. But if I ever find the time where I want to find it, it wouldn't be super difficult for me to share that separately somehow, maybe in a short. But that would probably be past this summer, because I have a lot of plans for as you can, excuse me, tell, as the they have been releasing. I'm sorry. I just had a lot of like breakfast food. It was like pretty good. It was kind of syrupy though, so. Wait, I gotta do this. I gotta do this before the exfil comes next round. I totally forgot. I kind of got backtracked, but this isn't too bad. I think I'm gonna get Jug and Stamina up. I don't know if it matters.
I could probably take a bullet and spit it right back out.
I can't be certain if Stamina up really helps here, but it might. This is a lot of running. This is one of my favorite swords to unlock. Not necessarily one of my favorite to use. It is very similar to the Fire Staff in Origins. Its special attack, at least.
3 guesses which thug this test was for.
So the reason I put Weaver as this instead of the one tomorrow, even though I think he would be pretty fitted for the one tomorrow as well, was because of a lot of his quotes. Like, he doesn't outright say, this sword is for me, but when he says stuff like, 3 guesses to see which thug this one was for, it doesn't sound like he's saying it's probably for one of the other ones. He's saying, like, I'm a thug. This one's for me. That's at least the implication I got from it via what I've seen, like what I've heard even during it throughout, as well as the other swords. Like, I got all 4 swords as Weaver, and this one was the one he seemed most related to. I gotta make sure not to take too much more damage here. I'm good. 15, 15.
Haven't moved that fast since basic training.
And like he's a military man, I think. He said basic training, and whenever he drinks Stamina up, he's like, hopefully the Soviet team doesn't test for doping or something, because it seems like he's an athlete. The fact that he runs like this and the speed in question, I just thought it was a good choice for him. And I definitely think this is one of the easier ones, although when my friends and I were first starting to learn it, one of them, Max, sorry, it was kind of funny though, he kept thinking he had to go all the way back to the sword in question, instead of the thing up there, so he would die all the time, and he was getting really frustrated about it. Jared ended up using it later on, and he had more success, and he's pretty good at zombies, honestly. He hasn't featured on the channel, maybe one day he will, but he really liked this sword, which I don't know, I think we choose our swords for reasons, you know? Like I said, I really like the Stag, but I think I like one of the I like the 2 next ones probably the best. I just don't like this one. We'll see as much. We'll see. You'll see the special attack, and it is very powerful, and it is awe-inspiring. Like, it's pretty cool to witness. I just don't really have as much. I just don't really like it as much. I was born in the year of the dragon, so year 2000, but I'm still not super attached to that. I feel like out of all, like, I don't know. I definitely don't mind the dragons. Like, I think they're cool, intriguing, and since I mentioned the Game of Thrones comparison with the Baratheon family yesterday, I think it's only fitting to mention the Targaryen family, and I don't feel very connected to that family, admittedly, but I definitely have a lot of respect for them in certain aspects, you know, a lot of atrocities depending, but the vast majority of their family, I think, was positive, and I just know that because I read Fire and Blood. Oh, that's my sword, I totally forgot. Whereas you might not know all of the information, you might only know very limited if you only saw Game of Thrones.
This is totally me if I was a sword.
Aw, he said it. Aw, yeah, that's me. This is totally me if I was a sword.
Don't worry, your friends are next.
I guessed it. I guessed it. I'm glad it was cool. So, as you can see, it's not just me choosing this. Like, I have some logic placed behind my choices. So, hopefully, you can try and guess the 2 for tomorrow, or the 2 for tomorrow and the next day. Well, let's go ahead and wrap up this episode, though. I'm gonna run this exfil, hopefully succeed. If I die, I die, but it's a pretty good looking sword. It's a pretty good looking sword.
Raptor 1 here. Got a full tank. Who needs a ride? You gotta get some to get some. Now, go get some, soldier.
Go get some, soldier.
Let's
see where this spawns.
Buckets won't catch me with my pants down.
Yeah, fair. I could probably use some ammo, but I don't have enough for it, so let's hope I make use of the sword well enough when I run out of this. I messed up the exfil location yesterday. I probably won't this time, though. But I don't have shields, I just noticed that. I bought stamina and speed cold instead.
I'm canceling our European vacation. Come get us.
I'm canceling our European vacation. Come get us.
Must be submitted in triplicate.
He really is the Pops of the group. That's funny. But he's the Pops that doesn't like traveling.
Cannot
In my experience, I was usually one that didn't like traveling. My parents liked it. Maybe you'd think that was lucky, but I didn't feel that lucky about it. Oh, the exfil location's here? Do I have to leave it and come into it?
Ah, Viscera just keeps coming, doesn't it?
Alright, well, I don't see a timer. This has happened to me a few times. But I don't see much voice audio. I see the one zombie, so I guess it's gonna be a little bit of overkill, but what can you do? I botched it.
Take a leg. I only want living people on this bird.
But that's the attack. It's much more effective against the group, but I didn't even know I was dealing with the group yet, so.
You smell like a slaughterhouse, but at least you are alive.
We smell like a slaughterhouse, but at least we're alive. So yeah, that's the Caliburn. It's pretty fun. It looks pretty cool, but like I said, these ones are gonna be a lot shorter than the one yesterday, which should be a little bit more useful. As I mentioned, I had to do it twice, so that's why it was longer, and I don't remember what I was gonna say, which means it probably wasn't that important, but let's see if I get my after action report. Do I get my after action report? It's being so glitchy right now. They don't want to give it to me. Whatever. Either way, I'm not gonna be a level 50, but that's okay. I don't need it yet. I'm a Prestige 9. There's a skin I want to unlock at level 50. If you know what it is, you'll probably know who I'm trying to get, but since it's not the one for tomorrow, I don't need it to be available yet, but I guess they weren't very impressed with my exfil at 11. I'm sorry, that was a pretty slower one. I do think in the future, based on like how I'm enjoying, I'm like in the process of trying to unlock or to complete the main quest on this map on my Twitch, and I'm really liking it. It's like really fun. It's kind of competing with Terminus a little bit. I didn't really like the Liberty Falls one that much. I completed that one as this Woods operator though, because they clearly these four no, she's not Requiem, but these three are. I completed it as this Woods skin. I don't remember how I got this number as Woods. I didn't purchase this Vault Edition, but I guess I got it anyway, so I appreciate that. Maybe there was a bundle. I did buy the Battle Pass. I don't know if that counted for it, but yeah, what was I saying? That's pretty much it for this episode. I guess it'll be quick. The next two should be quick as well. We'll see what I can blab about in that one, but please leave a like if you enjoyed. Subscribe for more content. I hope you enjoy your night, evening, morning, whatever it is that you're doing. Stay awesome. I'll see you next time.